everybody, it's Brooke with the Buttered Home. Welcome to Messy Kitchen Monday. There goes Tanner. She is pulling double duty tonight, and if you could see my kitchen, you would understand why she had to walk behind me. I know I've shared some pictures before on Facebook of what it looks like behind the scenes, but it is truly crowded in here, and I have a big kitchen, so you know it's crowded if my kitchen is hard to move around in. But nonetheless, happy September. Hey, I wasn't with you guys last week, but we had just come off of our long weekend, Labor Day weekend / anniversary weekend trip, and just ran out of gas to even do any kind of bonus material, because that's what it would have been. If you've been following me very long, a lot of my friends especially know I'll post stuff on my personal page and they'll be like ready to get it, and I had that happen this weekend, and I've got some people chomping at the bit for stuff that won't be seen until October. But I like to work a month or a few months in advance. Right now I am about to start working on November and December and have all of my content planned for the rest of the year. So I'll be giving you sneak peeks between now and then, so it'll give you just a little taste of what we've got going on. But you have to be patient, because we're only here with you once a week sharing these great recipes, and it gives us something to look forward to. I myself look forward to September to December, all the rest of the 9 months of the year. September kicks off football, which normally means fall, but if you live here in the South, not so much. It's been 100 degrees the last 2 or 3 days here, so it's not very fallish here. Do we have a question?
Not exactly. It's kind of pausing on me. So I just wanted to take a minute to see if anybody else was having that issue.
Okay, if anybody else is having trouble viewing, would you put a comment in here and let us know? Is it sticking or anything for you? We've had a little technical difficulty in the last 24 hours, so it could be our Wi-Fi.
Waiting on comments now, so if you're
Okay, let me look and see if I can see any. I've got comments popping up, so. Oh, hey, April, I am too. We've got some really good stuff. Okay, so it looks like I'm getting, okay, yeah. April says everything looks good for her, so maybe. Okay, all right, sorry about that. We have technical difficulties from time to time, so we try to address them, because the last thing I want to do is cook all this and it just be dead air. So, it's happened, and I've had to start completely over, and that's fine too, I don't mind. But anyway, what I was saying before, it kicks off football, and football is the beginning of the most wonderful time of year for the Buttered Home, and I know many of you too. We love to tailgate at home. Now, I'm not gonna lie and tell you that we like to go anywhere and tailgate, because let's just be honest, I'm not packing up my whole kitchen and going somewhere. I'd rather just stay home and yell at the TV in the privacy of my own home, and have some pretty good snacks while I'm doing it. So we are going to get started tonight with one that is super simple. And if you've been following me very long, and if you remember last year when I did the videos on how to use the whole bird, this is going to be kind of the same concept here. I don't like wasting anything. When I pay money for groceries at the grocery store, it hurts me to the core to have to throw stuff away. I mean, hurts me to the core. That's why I love leftovers, and I love recipes that you can pull double duty with. And tonight is one of those. And we are actually going to allude to a wonderful recipe that'll be coming in October. Don't get mad. Like I said before, it'll give you something to look forward to. But it is how you can take what we're using, what our main ingredient is for that recipe, and not throw anything away. So if you make this, once the recipe drops this week, save, well, I'll get to that in a minute. Let's start cooking. Well, sorta. So tonight what we are doing is easy potato peel chips. Yes, you heard me, potato peel chips. I was talking to my best friend Rayanne today and she goes, what? Potato chips? I said, no, potato peel chips. And she goes, really? I said, just trust me. So I'm asking all of you, trust me. This is a great recipe and it's so easy and you know exactly what you're getting whenever you do this. So the recipe calls for some good medium size, and I've just got russet potatoes. And these are a little bit bigger than medium, so I've only got just a few of them. So what we're gonna do is we have a bowl, and we're gonna take our handy dandy vegetable slicer, and you are just going to slice these just like you're peeling them. And I like to do them in long strips because when they cook in the oven, they get really crispy and sometimes they'll stick. And if they stick and they break in half, then you have the perfect size. You want them to be about 1 to 2 inches long. So if you peel them a little short, that's good too. And we're just gonna throw them in the bowl. And like I said, I don't like wasting anything. So this recipe is a tasty way not to waste anything. And you can cook these up and it doesn't matter if they're hot or they're cold or they're room temperature. They are gonna be fabulous just on their own. And I'm gonna show you how to make them fabulous. So let me just get these peeled. And the idea is to peel them so that you get just a little bit of potato there with them. It doesn't have to be much, but you know, you don't have to be careful. I know sometimes whenever you peel things, you're like real careful to not gouge, you know, the potato or the apple or whatever it is that you're working with. But it's totally fine on these to just throw caution to the wind and just peel them as good as you can. And if you get a little extra potato meat in there, that's even better. Now, I should have mentioned this already, but make sure that your potatoes have been washed really well. I kind of hope that goes without saying. But a little dirt never hurt anybody. Now, I have a recipe, and if any of my home folks are watching, what are 2 of the recipes that the Buttered Home is famous for? Does anybody know?
Am I allowed to answer?
Yeah, I guess you can answer.
I'll comment.
Okay, you're gonna comment? She's gonna comment probably the answer. And you can do as many of these as you want. The recipe calls for about 4 medium potatoes, but you know, if you're feeding a big crowd, then you're gonna wanna do more. Now, if you're doing these for game day on Saturday, totally save these potatoes and make some good homemade mashed potatoes with them. Or you can do what I'm gonna do, and I'll show you that here in just a second. Okay, so I got a good amount of peels. It doesn't look like a lot, but it's a lot. So now, because I hate wasting food, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut my potatoes into chunks. And I might as well do it now, right? Because when we get done, I'm gonna answer comments, and then I'm gonna take the potatoes and put them in a freezer bag after I throw them everywhere. And I love cooking live because you just never know what's gonna happen. And you know, I remember a year ago when I started doing this, I used to be so nervous. And if any of you watched the video last week that I shared, I think it was on Throwback Thursday, of me cooking a white roux, I was very calm. I was talking very slow. I was so nervous. Now, I'm not so nervous because, you know, you just about name it and it's just about happened while we were live. So I don't get bothered anymore, and if I mess up, I'm all right with that too, because I think that's one of the reasons why y'all come and cook with me on Monday nights, because I screw up a lot, and that in and of itself can be fun to watch. Or maybe you just relate to me. Oh, but let's not cut ourselves on live Instagram and Facebook. Because I have done that too. Not live, but. But one of the things that I like to do with these yummy potatoes is one of the things that I'm sure Tanner said that I was famous for is steak and potato soup. And if you have ever had any of my steak and potato soup, give me a shout out on here in the comments. Well, guess what? I'm going to freeze these potatoes and have them for you next month. Yes, we will have a Messy Kitchen Monday where we make, and I will share my recipe for the best steak and potato soup you will ever have. Took pictures for it this weekend, and everybody got to eat it, so everybody was super happy. All right, so back to our potato peel chips. Simple. I go with the KISS method every single time. So we're gonna add just a tiny bit of coarse sea salt, a tiny bit of black pepper, and a tiny bit of Lowry's seasoned salt. If you don't have this, if you need to know where to get it, never fear, there'll be a link in the recipe when it drops later in the week where you can order your own Lowry's, because this has been in my kitchen for over 20 years. Not this particular bottle, but Lowry's has been in my kitchen. Seasoning salt, and I know you saw me add seasoning salt and regular salt. That's because this seasoning salt is not very salty. It's more flavorful. So the seasoning salt with just a tiny bit of salt kind of works together to be fantastic. So now we're just gonna toss our potato peels and our spices. And if you like a little kick, you can add a little red pepper flake, or you can add a little cayenne pepper. That's good too. And then we're gonna take some olive oil. And the reason why I'm using olive oil is because olive oil has a very good flavor profile. We're not cooking these very long. We are cooking them at high heat, but not for very long, like 10, maybe 15 minutes. So it has a low smoke point, so it will smoke, but we're not cooking long enough for it to be an issue. So we're just gonna drizzle that olive oil in. And I'll have exact measurements for you on the recipe. Now, the messy kitchen could also double as the lazy kitchen, right? Okay, so I hate doing dishes. As a matter of fact, one of the only chores, not only, but the main chores that my girls have been the dishwasher. So, in order to make their lives easier, let's just be honest, because I'm not loading the dishwasher, Reagan is. I have lined a sheet pan with tin foil, because when it's done and I take them up, I just roll this up and throw it in the trash, and the sheet pan is nice and clean, just like it was when I got it out of the drawer. So, you're welcome, Reagan.
Thank you.
So, we are going to take these wonderful potato peels and we are going to lay them out, and can you see? Can everybody see? We're going to lay them out as best we can in a single layer. And Tanner is preheating the oven for me because I forgot. And like I said, we're cooking these on high heat, so they're gonna go in at like 450. But you don't have to remember that because the recipe is gonna be out later this week. And you know, I was saying before you could add some red pepper flakes and stuff to make these a little hotter. You know, that's one of the things that we love to do. We love to give you these recipes that kind of spark your cooking inspiration so that you can add things to them and make these recipes your own. Now, with that being said, we always want you to come back to the Buttered Home for your recipe needs, but if we can show you how to make something and how to make it your own, then we have achieved one of our goals, and that's just to get you cooking and to get you thinking about cooking and to get you in the kitchen and trying new things. And you know, I love cooking with my girls, and this is totally an easy thing. If you have little ones too, this is a great recipe to do with them as well. So now you see we have them basically in a single layer, and we're gonna put those in a 450-degree oven for about 10 to 15 minutes, just until they get as crispy as you want them. Now, I like them really crispy. I like them more like chips. So mines tend to stay in just a little bit longer. And I'm going to get the finished product. And here they are. They look like home fries, except they are really thin and really delicious. And you'll see they kind of shrink a little bit too, because these were long pieces. And you know, I'm not gonna lie, some of them broke, but that's okay too. They're still great, and they're still good and crispy. You get a little bit of whatever kind of dip you like, and dip these in there, and they're perfect. Now, when I take them out of the oven, I taste test them, and then if they need more seasoning, then I put just a little bit more seasoning on them. They're fantastic. And if you want a really good sauce to dip them in, go back to thebutteredhome.com and look at our bacon cheeseburger sheet pan sliders. And that sauce that we put on the sheet pan, bacon cheeseburger sheet pan sliders, if I can get it all out, has a really good sauce that's a really good dipping sauce for these too. So, waste not, want not. That's your first tailgate recipe for the month of September. And they are divine. They are wonderful, and you've not wasted a thing. And if you freeze these, which they'll totally be fine till October, then you can use these potatoes for some really yummy steak and potato soup that we've got coming up next month. So, if you haven't already, if you're on Facebook, up at the top on our cover photo, there's a sign up button. Sign up for our email list so you can be first to be notified when these recipes drop. If you're on Instagram, if you'll go over to our profile and hit the link in our profile, then you can sign up there. There's an easy way to sign up for our email list there. You don't want to miss these recipes, especially this month, because these tailgate recipes you can use for the rest of the year, for holiday parties, for family gatherings, or just whenever you want them. I mean, if you need something good to eat, what's better than a small bite, right? So y'all, we thank y'all for joining us tonight. Tanner's coming back through because she's got to stop my camera. We hope y'all will join us next Monday night because we have something very cheesy in store. We got lots of cheese coming up for the rest of the month, because what's tailgate appetizers without cheese, right? So we hope you enjoy these. The recipe will drop later in the week. And until then, from the Buttered Home to your home, we love y'all. Good night.